Hello, my name is Mike Ignatoski, the creator of the BlueLynx Hockey Spreadsheet, the spreadsheet that uses Excel programming to help you conveniently manage your tabletop hockey league project, including the standings, the schedule, but most of all, the player and team stats for your entire league. BlueLynx was created to help you get more enjoyment out of your tabletop hockey projects by giving you more time to play the games and look over the stats instead of painstakingly calculating them and entering them into a spreadsheet. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to upgrade your BlueLynx hockey spreadsheet and a little bit about the BlueLynx spreadsheet versions and what they mean. So let's get to it. So when it comes to BlueLynx upgrades, there are two kinds. There are bug fix upgrades and feature upgrades. And number one here talks about the bug fix upgrades, which don't contain any new features or enhancements, but their sole purpose is to fix one or more bugs or issues or problems. And you can tell it's a bug fix upgrade because only the last digit of the version number will change. And these examples of like 1.20 to 1.22, I would consider that to be BlueLynx version 1.2 when I talk about it, or if I ask somebody what version they've got in general, that tells me what features are supposed to be in it. And that last digit just tells me where are they at on the bug fix, or some people might call them patches to a given version. So again, if it's a bug fix, only that last digit or the second number after the decimal point will change on a bug fix upgrade. And as denoted here by the letter C in the list of things, that depending on what the bug fix does, you may or may not need or want to upgrade your current league because that fix or the feature that's broken doesn't apply to you or you're not using it. So it's only necessary to upgrade if it's a bug that's affecting your BlueLynx experience. The other much more exciting type of upgrade is a feature upgrade that does introduce new and or enhanced features. And it also may include some bug fixes, and unfortunately may accidentally introduce some new bugs because that's how software works. But hopefully, once I'm made aware of those, I'll take care of them to get it cleaned up and working like it should. So just a few of those items under feature upgrades, you'll see that if you can ignore the last digit, the version will change. So it might go from 120 to 130. So yeah, the last digit didn't change, but 1.2 changed to 1.3. Or similarly, 2.42 to 2.51. And when I think of a version, I think of it really as just the up to the first digit after the decimal point, as that's what tells me what features are in the version. Whereas the last number is just about the bug fix or the patch level. And I don't release every number. Like I might go from 2.42 to 2.44 or something. And maybe I made a 2.3 that I had a couple people test out and they found some problems, so I didn't release it. So that's just how the numbering isn't always consecutive. Anyway, as a general rule, I'd say most people will want to upgrade or want to apply the feature upgrade because of the new or improved functionality that it contains, no matter what that is. And this last point just says, keeping up with the main version of BlueLynx isn't strictly required all the time. You don't always have to upgrade as soon as something comes out, just, for fear of being left behind. But it's good to not be, I'll say, too many releases or feature upgrades behind, because with each upgrade, it only looks back, I'll say, I don't know how an exact number, but it only looks back a certain number of versions that are able to be upgraded. So, as an example, maybe when I first had some releases, you can't always upgrade version 1.1 to
maybe in the future of 4.5. It'll be too much of a jump. You might have to apply some other upgrades in between. So it's good to at least say somewhat keep up with the main version, just so that you're not caught in a place where you can't directly upgrade to the version you eventually want. So that's describing what the two types of upgrades and what the versions mean in BlueLynx. So what does the upgrade process do? Let's talk about that. So this list of bullets here talks about basically the general steps of the upgrade process. And I should first point out bullet number 2, which is probably the most important thing about it, which is that the upgrade process, I'll say, is very safe in that it doesn't alter anything really in your original spreadsheet. It's just copying data from that and into the new one, into the newer version that starts out empty. So in that way, I want to say that's what makes it's safe. It's not altering your original one and trying to put new things in there. It's just copying your old data or your existing data from there. But so now let's go back to the top bullet here with when you start upgrading, the first step is it's going to look for other open BlueLynx spreadsheets in the background. You have to have the I'll say the newer version that's empty, and that's where you're going to launch the process from. And you need to have the BlueLynx league or spreadsheet that you want to upgrade that has your data in it. You want to have that open, but just in the background. And you shouldn't have any other BlueLynx spreadsheets open. So when you do that, it'll then ask you, do you want to upgrade this spreadsheet? And the one you say yes on, it does some little checking to make sure that the versions that it's something that it can upgrade. And if it passes all that, it then begins the process of copying the data. One thing I also mentioned that I didn't put on this is one of the checks it does is on some of the sheets, the data has data in tables. There can't be any hidden rows. So once in a while, if you have a filter on in one of the tables, it might stop and basically tell you to unhide the row and restart the upgrade. But anyway, number 3 here, let's get to that, where it kind of talks about what it's going to copy. And it doesn't copy everything, but it copies everything it needs. So it copies all the league configuration data and all the game results. And they're copied from your old one spreadsheet into the new version. And that includes stuff like, your league, how many teams are in your league, the rosters, your team IDs, and your default lineups, the schedule, the results on the schedule, and I say stats here, and that kind of leads to the next bullet. For the stats, only the stat sheets that deal with the player game log data are copied. The other stat sheets, which entails, pretty much are the other stat sheets would be like the team game logs and all 4 season stat data sheets, as well as your leaders. Those are not copied because using the skater and goalie game log data, as well as the results from the schedule that it copied, it can regenerate all the other data. And that's what it does. So that's why it only copies those couple, and then at the end, you'll be prompted to generate those other stat sheets and your leaders, which depending on how many games you've played and how many leagues or teams are in your league, it may take a minute or two, or it might just take a few seconds. So anyway, so that's in general what the upgrade process is doing when you click the button and it's doing Excel backflips on your screen. Okay, this slide just kind of covering the upgrade process and a couple other finer points, which is for either type of upgrade, bug fix or feature, the upgrade process is the same as far as the engine goes. It's going through the same steps. The only, I'll say, here it says the only difference between the two is what messages are displayed to the user. I mean, that's not exactly true because depending on what version you're starting from, it may have to do some extra steps. But for the most part, the only difference that you can experience from the user is from the messages that it shows you. And if you have a feature upgrade, it will, at the end of the upgrade, after completing, it'll show you a list of at least some of the main features and enhancements that are in the new version. But other than that, the process is the same. So given all that, let me demonstrate doing a BlueLynx upgrade, and we can see it in action. But wait, there's one thing I forgot to mention before we do the demo, and that's this thing at the bottom, that during the upgrade process, it does not copy the contents of the score sheet. So it says here, never upgrade if the score sheet, or if you have a game on your score sheet that is not complete or not saved, because nothing on the score sheet as far as game stats goes will be copied. At the end of the upgrade, the score sheet is always blank. So always wait for your upgrade until you finish a game and save the results of that game, and then you're okay to upgrade, but not during the middle of a game. Okay, now let's get on to the demo. So the first two things you want to do to get ready for your upgrade are, and it doesn't really matter the order you do them, is get your current BlueLynx spreadsheet ready to be upgraded, and then also download or get the newer version of the BlueLynx spreadsheet so that you can use it to upgrade your current one. So to do that, what I have here are this 1961 NHL project. So if I look in this, you'll see here, and this, you see, first of all, my score sheet's blank, which is what you want. I want to have a game going on here. If I look at the schedule, you can see here in this 61 replay, this is actually donated by one of the BlueLynx users, actually two users, Joe and Bob. So I appreciate them letting me use this for demonstration purposes. So you can see here they've played 83 of these 210 games of the 60-61 schedule. So what I'm kind of looking for here is I want to just check a couple things. In the schedule here, I can look at these little table column header filter buttons here, and none of them are filtering anything. Same if I look in the rosters, I can tell none of these are filtered. When I say filtered, meaning if you were to click on this and just say I only want to see the Red Wings, it shows this little filter here. And this has to do with, when you apply a filter, usually you're going to hide some rows. And that's one of the things that'll stop the upgrade, which is if it detects hidden rows, it'll just bail out. So I'm going to remove this so that now all the rows are showing again in here. And also on this master player list, same kind of thing. I don't see any filters, so this looks good. And I kind of look at the standings. I can see how many games they played. And that's all I really need to do for this. If I wanted to, I could maybe look at the leaders to see just kind of who had the most points and kind of make a mental note of it so that when I upgrade and recompute my leaders, that I should see these same players, assuming these are up to date, and I believe they are. Okay, so that's that step of getting your current spreadsheet ready. It looks like it's ready. This is, oh, let me move this out of the way a second. The other thing you want to do is get your new spreadsheet or download it. And in this demonstration, I'm going to upgrade the 61 NHL to BlueLynx 2.3 or 2.32. But because I already have this ready to go, I want to show something on this other one. So let's kind of pretend that this 2.2.1 is the newest version. And if you're on a PC, before you can upgrade, you need to unblock it. And I'll just show this again. So to unblock it, after you save it, you right click on it and you go to this properties, and then you'll see this unblock box. And depending on your version of Windows, it might not look exactly like this, but the concept is the same. You right click, go to properties, you find this unblock, you click it, and then OK. And then that kind of allows the macro programming to work. So once you unblock it, then you open it up and you're ready to start your upgrade process. So that's what I'm going to do now, is then go to this 232, which is right here. And this is the one I'm going to upgrade to. If I go to the score sheet here, see this is version 2.32. And the one that I had in the 6061, I think that was version 2. Where was that there? I believe that was version 2.21. So we're going to go 2.2 to 2.3 in this demonstration. Okay, so here's the one I'm going to upgrade, my 1961 project. I'm just going to, now that it's open, it's ready, I'm going to minimize it and just kind of leave it in the background. And now I'm going to then start up the one I want to upgrade to, the newer version, which should be blank, which is my 2.3. So let me do that. And you should get this welcome screen then when it's blank with these various buttons on it. And it'll tell you the version up here. And I want to click the blue button here because I want to upgrade an existing BlueLynx League spreadsheet. So I'll click that. And then it tells me this, that if I want to upgrade, it has to already be open in the background, and it tells me to go to the league sheet and click the upgrade existing BlueLynx League button and follow the instructions. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll say okay, and it already, when you click that button, it already jumps to the league sheet. You can see down here, this is the league sheet, and this is the green button that it's talking about. So I'm going to click this green button here. And what it's here, it's just going to say you can't have any hidden rows on these sheets. And we already checked that. So do I want to continue? Yes. And then it found the 1961 sheet. You should only have one spreadsheet open, but if you had multiple BlueLynx spreadsheets open, it would go through each one and ask you, do you want to upgrade this one, this one? So, but it's best to only have the one you want to upgrade open, just so you don't get it mixed up. So this is asking me, do I want to upgrade the 1961 NHL Excel spreadsheet to BlueLynx version 2.32? And I'm going to say, yes, I do. And here it says all existing data in the current BlueLynx spreadsheet will be overwritten. I need to probably change this verbiage, because really this is talking about in the one I'm clicking this upgrade button from, which we already know is blank. So it's going to ask me 3 times here if I really want to do that. Say yeah. So now it's starting the upgrade process. So it's looking at what's in the old one and copying that data from one Excel workbook into the new one. But it's not altering the original data. And we kind of keep my eye down here on this lower left. See here now it's showing some status stuff. Depending on how many games you've got played, you may or may not be able to see any of these status updates. And depending on how many games you've played, it may take longer or less time. All right, so then it does prompt you a couple times. This one says it's configured the basically the stat columns on the score sheet according to the config sheet. That's which columns here you want shown on the score sheet. You can always change them anytime you want to, but it tries to keep those as you had them in your original spreadsheet. Okay. This is saying nobody was on the injury chart. And now it's because we went to a newer version. This was a feature upgrade. One of the last steps is it's telling me what are some of the new things in the new version. So it says what's new in 2.3, and these are the things that you can add postseason games to the schedule, and it now has current and season goal scoring streaks and etc. These are the new things that were new in version 2.3. I'll click OK. And this is what you want to see. Awesomeness. Your spreadsheet upgrade appears to be successful. When this little second text block here, when a BlueLynx spreadsheet is upgraded, it copies all the game log player stats, but it does not copy any team or season stats. Would you like to compute these stats for your upgraded league now? And really, there's no real good reason not to, unless you realize you did something wrong, or upgraded your wrong spreadsheet or whatever. But typically, you're going to say yes here. So let's do that. And let's also keep an eye down here on this lower left corner where it'll sometimes show the status of things, but I'm not sure if a lot of times if you don't have enough or a lot of games, it happens so fast that you really can't read it. But let's just watch. So here you can see it briefly said a couple things, and it quickly showed it was going through all the player ID names. If you saw that, look, doing their scoring streaks. But okay, so that didn't take very long at all. And your experience may vary based on your league, your teams, the number of games you played, your computer. So everyone's a little bit different. But it's asking me, do I want to compute the leaders now? Sure. You don't have to. You can say no and compute them later if you want to check something out first. But I'm just going to do it now. And the same thing with the leaders. Let's watch this lower left corner to see if we can notice anything. Maybe when it does the scoring streaks. Or maybe not. That's it. So it completed. And now let's take a look and see what it looks like. So now I'm looking at, again, this version 2.3. These are the leaders, and I can tell by looking at these just freshly computed leaders that these are the same numbers that I had before. I'm going to look at a couple other things here. I look at my score sheet says 2.32. That's what I want to see. Schedule shows 210 and 83, which is what it had before. This looks a little different because in version 2.3, these features were added where it now shows you regular season games and postseason games, as well as this new button up here of how to add playoff games. So this looks good. I look down here and it's got a up through game 83 complete. That's what I want to see. My standings look good. And if I look at my different stat sheets here, they're all computed. This looks great. So that is the end of the demonstration of how to upgrade your BlueLynx hockey spreadsheet. I hope you found that useful. And hopefully, maybe by watching this how to upgrade video, you have a little more confidence or comfort or less anxiety about upgrading your spreadsheet and about, I guess, not having the fear that it's going to mess up the data that you spent so much time uh, accumulating. So good luck with those upgrades.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. And like Red Green says, keep your stick on the ice.